So the 2023 All-Pro team roster was revealed today. And I'll be honest, I don't have any problems with the All-Pro roster, but the second team I have problems with. So let's talk about it. The All-Pro roster quarterback was Lamar Jackson. Not going to argue that. He was an amazing quarterback this season, might be MVP. It is what it is. Joe was not going to get this. Joe missed half the year, and neither was Jake Browning. Even if Jake Browning would have finished the season off excellently, I don't think he would have gotten this anyway. Lamar had a fantastic season. Christian McCaffrey, running back. No issue there. Fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, okay. George Kittle, makes sense. Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah. Now, could Ja'Marr Chase have gotten on here? Possibly. But in all honesty, Chase did have 1,300 yards this year. 13. Let me double check this number, because I just had the number up. He had 1,200 yards this year, 7 touchdowns, 100 receptions. And all three of these guys had a better season than Chase. Even though I love to sit here and be biased and say, like, oh, no, Chase played better. He didn't. Like, Amon-Ra, for example, was the third guy on this list. He had 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 1,700 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 1,500 yards. Like, there's no real comparison here, right? So, I'm okay with this receiving core list. Trent Williams, yes, probably. I think he always gets the left tackle nod. Rightfully so. Joe Thuney, okay. Jason Kelsey, Zach Martin, Penny Sewell. Edge rushers are Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. Linebackers, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Quincy Williams. And the corners are DeJuan Bland, Sauce Gardner, slot corner Trent McDuffie. Safeties, Kyle Hamilton, Antoine Winfield. Place kicker is going to be Brandon, the Dallas guy, Aubrey. Punter is AJ Cole, and then kick returner is Nixon for the Packers. Punt returner is Rashid, let me say his name correctly, Rashid Shaheed. Miles got it for the special teamer, and long snapper was Ross. I'm going to butcher that last name. Now, I don't have a problem with the first team. Because listen, did we deserve to be on the first team? Probably not. Other than Trey Henderickson, he's the only one I could even argue. And even then, I think TJ Watt and Myles Garrett had better seasons than Trey Henderickson. But for the second team, you can kiss my butt when it comes to the snubs that we got. Alright, so starting off right away, quarterback. Dak Prescott, I have no problem with that. I think Dak had a fantastic season. Kyron Williams, even though he's a rookie, I have no problem with this. He's played pretty damn amazing this year. Patrick Ricard, okay, fullback. Tight end, Sam Laporta. It hurts every time I see him be successful knowing we could have had him. We could have had him throughout this whole entire season. The receivers is where I have problems with. So, first receiver I have a problem with is Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, I think, is a fantastic receiver. But to say he had a better season than Ja'Marr Chase, I feel like is incorrect. So, Ja'Marr Chase had, again, like I said, 1,216 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 100 receptions. While Brandon Ayuk, let me just bring up his stats, had 75 receptions, same amount of touchdowns, and he had around 70 more yards. But he had, again, 35 less receptions. 25 less receptions. My math is absolutely awful. 25 less receptions, and he had roughly about, 120 more yards. Maybe not. Like, Mike Evans, I can't even argue, because Mike Evans had 12 touchdowns. Like, I can't even argue that one. And Puka Nacua, you could make the argument there, but Puka, I mean, the guy had 1,500 yards as a rookie, and he's competing with records right now on the, he's competing records right now of, like, Jay Jettis or Ja'Marr Chase as rookies. Like, That's how insane his stats were. 105 yards. He only had 6 touchdowns, so less than Ja'Marr Chase, but he had 14, almost 1,500 yards. And he's a rookie. And he's not even the number one on his team. Although most of the season he was, because we had an injury. Well, they had an injury to who? Why could I not think of the guy's name? Big white guy. Cooper Kupp. Oh my gosh. My brain today. And then A.J. Brown had 106 receptions, 1,456 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I feel like, I don't know. I guess more yards, same amount of touchdowns as Chase. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a snub. It's not a snub, but I feel like there could be an argument that over Brandon Ayuk, you could have Ja'Marr Chase on this list. But it's 120 more yards, and Chase had, well, I mean, I guess that's actually even worse then, because Chase had more receptions but less yards. Brandon Ayuk had 25 more receptions. He'd probably have more yards than potentially Puka Nacua. See, there isn't many snubs on this list. That's what my point is. Left tackle. Tyron Smith. Offensive line, there's no snubs at all. This is my only snub, I will say, is edge rushers. You got Micah and you got Max Crosby. Now, I have no problem with the Micah comparison because Micah is a freaking monster. And Max Crosby is also a monster. But I think that Trey Henderickson should have got on this list. I feel like Trey Henderickson should have got on this as this spot. Trey Henderickson this year had 17.5 sacks, while Max Crosby had 14.5. So, again, is it like, splitting hairs? Absolutely. If you want to look at the fact that combined tackles, Max Crosby had 90, while Trey Hendrickson had 45, so he had half the amount of tackles, but combined tackles, sorry. But he definitely still had 14.5 sacks versus 17.5 sacks. I'm not going to get too mad about that, but yeah, you could make an argument why Trey Hendrickson could be on the list. Interior defensive lineman, Justin and Dexter Lawrence. Okay, linebackers, Demario Davis, Bobby Wagner, Patrick Queen. I feel like Logan Wilson should be on this list instead of Patrick Queen. Logan Wilson had 4 interceptions this year at the linebacker position. So I feel like on the low, I definitely put our boy Logan Wilson on this list over Patrick Queen. So Queen had 133 tackles, 49 assists, 3.5 sacks, and he had 1 interception. While Logan Wilson, double check this, had 135 tackles, 57 assists, 1 sack, and 4 interceptions. So Logan had 2 more tackles than Patrick Queen. He had more assist tackles. He had 2.5 less sacks, but he had 3 more interceptions than Patrick Queen. He also had 3 fumble recoveries, while Patrick Queen had 1 fumble recovery. Which fumble recoveries don't really matter. But so overall, a tad bit better for Logan Wilson. So he got a little snubbed here. And I didn't even look at Bobby Wagner's stats. What does Wagner's stats look like? Let me type in Bobby. So Bobby Wagner. 183. Now that Wagner's better. I mean, Wagner didn't have an interception. That's the only thing Wagner doesn't have. But he had like 50 more yards overall wise than. I was like, he had 50 more tackles, 30 more tackles than both of these guys. But I think he got a little snubbed here. I would put Queen. I would take out Queen. I'd put Logan Wilson. I think Roquan Smith is perfectly acceptable in there, but on the first team. But second team should be Logan Wilson. Corners, okay. Slots, safety. Jesse Bates 100% deserved this. He deserved first team in all honesty. Who was the first team free safety? Kyle Hamilton. Wait. Oh, there's only one. No, there is 2. Who was the second one? Antoine Winfield. Okay. I would say Jesse Bates could make the argument that he could be on the first team here. Yeah, I would make the argument that Jesse Bates could be on the first team. But I'm not going to... That's splitting hairs at this point. Justin Simmons, okay, plays kicker. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I'm not really upset with either of these lists. I would potentially put in Trey Henderickson. I put in Logan Wilson. And then potentially Jamar Chase in spot of Brandon Ayuk. But other than that, I'm not too upset about it. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.